Well, Roosters fans, today on Roosters Radio, as we said, we've got the pleasure of Sam Verrills. And Silky, we mentioned earlier in the show, you wouldn't have known Sam's been off for 12 months with a knee injury the way he played yesterday. Sammy, you just stepped straight in to the mix on ANZAC Day, and probably one of the biggest games outside finals, which you can tell us about, seeing you're the rugby league expert. But how was it?
Yeah, it was. I said yesterday on the Roosters TV that it was a real privilege and an honour to play on that day, and just to get back out there playing some footy, it's always a good thing.
Sammy, can you take us through? We'll touch on your journey, but can you take us through? I think Silky, we spoke about just prior to the game how you were feeling. You've done all this work. You know, you're in with Victor, which would have been a lot of fun, I guess, having an injury with a great bloke like him. But how were you feeling personally before the game? What's going through your mind?
Yeah, obviously you got all the emotions on ANZAC Day. That you got a big crowd. You know, I've been off the game for 10 months, and it's the longest period I've ever had off in rugby league. As a kid growing up, I've never had 10 months. So to come back into a game like that was pretty special. There was obviously the nerves there, but like I said yesterday, I had more nerves about my lungs coping than my knee. I felt really confident in my knee. You know, the physio got downstairs and the staff we have here, they've just helped me along the way, and it's been good.
Sammy, your meteoric rise, you've been in the club a couple of years now. We go back to the grand final, you're scoring tries. It seems like you like the crowd, you like the big matches. Do you feel that you rise to the occasion?
Yeah, I think everyone loves the big crowds. You build off energy from your fans and all that, and I think everyone just grows a leg in the big games, and I love the big games, and it's awesome to be back playing footy.
Sammy, I want to take you and the fans on a little bit of a journey as we get to know Sam Verrills here on Roosters Radio. 12 months ago, we're almost, a little bit longer, but we're at the heart of Barcelona. We're covering World Club Challenge. You guys are doing some great team experiences and some team building and bonding. And, this thing called COVID hops in the one when we get back. But what's the differences 12 months has made to you as a person, how you prepare, and obviously there's so many changes in the world?
Yeah, that was a fun trip, gentlemen. It was a very fun trip.
Absolutely.
It's just crazy to think, after we got back from there, we pretty much went straight into lockdown. Yep. We went into a bubble. I couldn't see any of my friends, my extended family. It was a real weird time for us footy players. It was a weird way. And then obviously playing that game of footy with no fans and, obviously doing my knee. It was a tough year, but I think I learned a lot from it. And, we're going into 2021 with high hopes for me getting back into the game and, having a, long year ahead, but hopefully a good one.
Just the journey of rehab. I mean, you shared that time with Victor. We had those two games where Roosters fans just head in hands when we saw both of you get injured. It's, two of your great young players. For you personally, you had to go through it and you rehab on the way back. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what you had to do to get back to yesterday?
Yeah, well, so obviously when you go through an ACL injury, it's pretty damaging, just doing your knee, you're just like far out. You're out for a long time, but to do it with Vic, I don't want to say it was fun because it definitely wasn't fun, but there was a lot of enjoyable moments in that 9 months we had off, and we worked so hard with each other, and having a partner in the same level, we did our knee the same night. It was, the surgery was on the same day. We rehabbed all together. It was just like we smashed ourselves in the training, and we just had fun along the way, and having someone there along the journey, along the ride, it really helped. And obviously the character of Vic, he's a funny person.
Do you think his jokes speed up the recovery?
Sorry?
Do you think his jokes speed up the recovery?
Not really. Probably made it longer, to be honest. I got over him.
Mate, there was a little bit of frustration. I remember speaking to you downstairs here at the start of the season, and you expected to come back in and around round 3 or 4, and then you had to go back in and get some further kind of clean out. What was that all about? Yeah,
so there was a few hiccups along the way. Obviously, with my injury, it didn't really all go to plan. There was I had a second clean out in December just before the break. There was a lot of scar tissue there. I couldn't get my full extension to my knee, and so we got that done. And then coming into the Warriors game, I went for a scan to clear myself for that game, and that was penciled in. That was going to be both our returns. We're going to return together, and this random cartilage flap that had nothing to do with the actual ACL itself showed up, and it was kind of up to me with the decision with me and the doc to go, well, you don't have to have surgery, but, it could affect, your playing and everything, or you have the surgery and, it's going to be another month off. And I just thought, look, I've done 9 months now. I'm not going to come back early and try and risk things. And, I'm very happy with the decision I made. And obviously there's a couple of surgeries along the way, which I didn't plan, but, that's life.
So you just mentioned a bit earlier, you learn a few things about yourself. One's obviously patience.
Yeah.
What else have you kind of taken away from this experience?
Yeah, a lot of patience, kind of just making sure your whole body's right, rehabbing it really well, not just the knee. Going into games now, I'm more focused on just getting the body right. Obviously, I was a 20-year-old, 21-year-old coming through grade. You just, you play footy and you're G'd up, and that's all you are. And sort of just learning from the older guys, having a big trauma, injury. It's made me go into a game, into a week, really focusing what you're doing after training, before training. Not just the knee, just every aspect of footy, just getting your body, your mind right for that game.
You just alluded to the older guys.
Yeah.
We've got to talk about Jake Friend.
Yeah.
Retired. Obviously, you guys have had a few words and a few conversations. I don't know if there's anything you want to share with us, but, that number 9 jersey, obviously with Freddie, it's yours for the taking.
Yeah, I've had a few words with Nug. It's so heavy what happened to him. He's a real leader for us in us club, and for him leaving like that wasn't the way he wanted to go out, obviously. And you just got to look back at his career, and he had such a good career, and he got that Origin win. He's got the few grand finals. He had a 250-plus game career. He did everything in the game he wanted to do. So him leaving it's upsetting. He feels it's a big void we've got to fill, but I think that first game back is one step in the right direction, hopefully for me, and having that 9 spot there for the rest of the year.
Sammy, we're also, learnt we're not short of hookers, but we've had to really go through our stocks while you've been injured as well. Also opens up an opportunity for a couple of number 2s behind you. You're our number 1 hooker now, which is great. It must be pleasing for you to sort of have someone to mentor. Do you feel you've got to step up a bit yourself into more of a friendly style mentorship that he might have been to you?
Yeah, he's taught me a lot throughout these 2-3 years I've been here with grade, and I'm going to take that into my career for as long as I can, and having Benny Marshke there as well at the moment. He was playing Ron Massey round 1, and now he's started probably half the season now. I'm not sure how many games he's started now, but you think about a rise like that, and he's just absolutely come in, just killed it as well. He's played so well, and, it's really good. You got Freddie there coming back off a broken arm, so... as obviously with Nug being injured, opens up opportunities for Freddie and Benny Marshke to come in, and it's only benefit them. And having 3 good solid hookers there at the moment, it's really good for us.
Mate, my spies over the Northern Beaches tell me, as a young bloke at the Avalon Bulldogs, in the halves, when did you make the transition?
So I played for Mona Vale Raiders and Avalon Bulldogs. So I played most of my young career at Mona, then moved into Avalon Bulldogs, but. I was normally a 9 and 7 role at Avalon. I just was filling in wherever they needed me to. But, I guess having that 7 role at junior club was pretty fun.
And when you played, junior reps in the Manly comp, were you a 9 there?
So I was the 9 for 3 years there for the Maddies and Ball. Then that last year of Ball at Manly, I got put in the halfback, and I went all right, but I'd rather be a hooker.
You prefer the 9?
Yeah, I prefer the 9.
Why is that?
I don't know. I just like being around the ruck, the middle, making all the tackles as well. I love playing 9.
So, who was your favourite player growing up as a kid?
So I grew up going for the Knights. So Danny Badiris, Joey Johns, that little era. I thought them two were pretty good footy players. So I love watching them play. Yeah,
Badiris is a great hooker, wasn't he? Mate, if you had to model yourself on any athlete, be it at the Roosters, be Danny Badiris as an example, or be it in world sport, do you have a role model that you model yourself on, or you think you'd like to be like?
Not really, to be honest. I watch all sports, but kind of just cherry pick on every athlete really, but there's not one particular athlete that I go off that I want to be. I just kind of want to pick off other people's abilities and try and put into one, and it's me.
What would you do if you weren't playing rugby league, do you think?
I have absolutely no idea. Nah, I was an electrician with the 18 Electoral, which is a little shout out there for them. But they were big footy fans, and I loved working for them. I didn't like being under the roofs and hated doing all that shit. But I'm actually not sure. It's a good question. I'm not sure. I was an electrician though.
I want to take you back to Sunday's match.
Yep.
You run on the field. I think it's your first or second touch. You go down the short side, throw a dummy, pass to the Morris brothers, and Drew Hutchins, gets ankle tapped just short of the line. You must have pinched yourself because it just came so naturally, and from then on, you just seemed to have a natural flow. It was like you'd never been out of the game. Did it feel like that on the field?
Yeah, it felt really good to be back out there first. Just with a packed house and everything, it felt mad. My first thing when I got out there, I was like, I really want to get that run out of the way, and I really want to make that first tackle out of the way. And I think I wasn't even going to run. I just kind of just happened, and I saw a little space, and I just took it, and yeah, it was a pretty good run, I guess.
The ripper.
Sammy, the crowd. I mean, we talked about we cover the games for the Captain's Club out there, watching you boys every week or at home. For us yesterday, it just typifies how good the Sydney Cricket Ground is to watch football because we got 40,000 people there. When we haven't got a full crowd, it's not.
It's hard.
It's a bit different. Do you feel that as a player? Is it just white noise that just drowns in the background eventually of the crowd, or did you really feel the intensity of the crowd yesterday?
I don't think it changes too much. I think just the occasion on the day as well. Like it's ANZAC Day, you really want to represent your club well, represent the ANZACs. I think just the occasion of the day was really special to us players, and you really wanted to represent the club really well yesterday. And obviously a big crowd at the SCG does help, but it doesn't, affect us how we play. Mate,
the new halves, obviously you hadn't played with either of the boys before in the 6 and 7. How did you find it? And, in particular, the new number 7.
Yeah, he's good. Little Sprinks, we call him. It's crazy to think he's only 18. He's played, his 4th or 5th NRL game, and he's getting man of the match performances, and he's doing all that. So he's living up to all the hype. But you can see at training the way he speaks to the boys, his character. He's going to have a long future ahead of him, and he's a top bloke. And to be only 18 and doing some silky moves out there, it's crazy.
From where we watched the game, you're saying the Captain's Club, Drew Hutchinson, a lot of talking, a lot of finger pointing,
yep.
Really telling players where they've got to be. Do you hear that on the field? Because I was watching what he was doing off the ball, and I was really impressed with the way he was directing traffic. Did you pick that up as well?
Yeah, Drew. I've played with Drewy for a few years now with Bears and now in the grade as well, and you can he's a really good footy player. He's got a good kicking game on him. He organises things very well, and then just lets Sprinks does his thing. And it's obviously going to take a while for the combinations to build them two together, but it's working really well. And it's a good solid side going through, and they're just complementing each other's games.
Sammy, yesterday Angus dressed as a war veteran to run out in the field, and he certainly played.
He's a beast,
like a soldier. I mean, he has just gone to a new level. So, to play behind such a strong pack, and then Jared, Jared is our spiritual leader. We say on Roosters Radio, to play behind such a big pack, it must make it easier for you.
Yeah, it does make my life a lot easier. You can literally name every single forward and every single middle in that team, and it's an honour to play behind this pack we've got here. It's a special bond we've got as well. We're all good mates. We're all bloody close with each other, and it's pretty special.
Sammy, what do you do to get away from the game and relax? What does Sam Verrills like? Do you read books, play golf, go fishing?
I wish I could read, but I'm still learning how to read. No, I'm pretty relaxed. I just stay at home and I just chill on my days off. It's pretty busy lifestyle we live at pre-season into the season. So, I just chill at home, just see what my mates are doing who aren't working, and just hang out with friends. It's kind of just chilled.
Mate, we've got a big game Saturday night up there at Newcastle. You'll be up against young Brayley. Another, young bloke, does plenty of tackle. I think you guys have quite a similar style of play, if I'm honest. What are you expecting from the Knights?
Yeah, Newcastle, they're just a good, solid team around the park. You're going to expect a hard game with them. They're going to show up. They're going to try and be real physical. And, Brayley's going really good. He's coming off a knee as well last year that he copped. And and he's really directing around the park pretty well. We'll get into our video later on in the week, but you're always going to expect a hostile crowd up there. It's always packed, and especially a Saturday night game up there. It's going to be very fun to play in.
And of course, Adam O'Brien might know a few of the old secrets.
Yeah, well, we've changed our game up quite a bit now, so there's no secrets anymore. If Radley's watching this.
Well, it's interesting for fans. We got we had Fitzy in here talking about his life membership, and he's a stalwart of this club, and from every fan, he goes, and I'm sure with players like yourself who build a close relationship, goes with full blessing, and we wish him the best as a first grade coach. But is that something that every year, we change up our style of play so we get rid of those old spies like Fitzy?
Yeah, exactly. No, Fitzy deserves the head coaching role as well.
He does.
He's been, he's pretty much is a head coach here as well with Robbo. The way delivers his presentations, his voice in our group, it's pretty much like a head coach. So he's going to be pretty missed next year, but obviously we got a few plays here and there that we always change, especially with the rule changes as well. We changed our game up quite a bit because just how fast the game's turning into, and it's just all about the changes every year. Yeah,
that brings my next question, Sammy, probably one of my last, but the changes in the game. You've come back yesterday, and just as I said, we were just sitting there going, "My God, it's like you never had any time off." But did you?
The lungs felt it.
I know the lungs felt it, but did you notice the speed in the game? Like the 6 again restarts, it seemed very prevalent. And the 18th man coming on second time in the NRL history in 2 games this weekend. It's happened. Is the speed of the game changed for you? Has the style of the game changed in what you missed?
Yeah, so the speed of the game's like, so even just when you kick the ball out now, the scrums there, there's no scrums anymore. So the leader's a lot quicker, but I feel like it's good though, just quicken up the game for us little fellas. Even that 18th man yesterday, just seeing Ted go off and the way Matty just responded, he took his bib off and he was just so pumped and G'd up, and you just go far out. It's kind of cool the way he came in as well, and he just played a solid performance.
He was terrific.
Yeah, so the rule changes are different, but I think they are good.
Well, Sammy, we really appreciated your time here today, mate. So glad to see you back on the paddock and playing well, and long may it continue. Thanks for joining us on Roosters Radio.
Thanks, guys. Thank you very much.
Thanks, mate.